YouTube, Rook here from Rook Geek Goodness, my little channel on the web for all things geeky and cool, and welcome guys to another Funko review. You're noticing I'm not shooting in my studio for this particular Funko review, mainly because there's a lot of items to talk about, and I can't really get as close up as I really want to, especially with these 8 pops. What are we talking about? We're talking about the Office Pops. I talked about them on a recent stream. I thought, you know what, it'd be perfect time to really talk about the Office and what it's all about, basically. Now, if you're not familiar with the Office sitcom, it was kind of spun out of a British sitcom. That was the original Office TV show over in Britain. They made an Americanized version of it, ran for 9 seasons from 2005 up to 2013, 201 episodes, of course starring Steve Carell playing the inaugural Michael Scott character, the boss everyone wants to work for. Great sitcom. If you've never watched it before, I highly recommend taking a looking at it. Go from the very first season on, because it's very cool. The characters grow, they change through the entire set of seasons. I'm currently in the 7th season right now. There's a big change that's going to happen in this season. I don't want to spoil anything. I'm not even there yet. But it's a very cool show. And I highly recommend the Office Pops. Now, I wanted, like I said, shoot it this way because there's a lot of really cool things to talk about these guys. We've got common pops, we have exclusives, we have a 2-pack to go over. But what makes these guys very cool is something I talked about it on a recent stream, and I really showcased it off. On the Periscope video for Hot Topics, there's an Easter egg buried in every single Office Pop that normal Pops don't have. So what we have to do is break these guys down in a breakdown segment. We'll look at the packaging as a whole. We'll look at paint articulation, that really cool Easter egg, including final thoughts for you, the viewer. Should you spend the money and pick up the Office Pops by Funko? Stay tuned, guys. We're going to go into a breakdown. Alright guys, we're in the breakdown segment, which is going to be kind of close up anyway, because, like I said, I have a lot of items to talk about, and I wanted to get up close as possibly can to these pops. Now, as I mentioned, there's commons, there's exclusives, and a 2-pack. Let's start very first thing off with them in packaging first, and we'll look at the Michael Scott character, kind of the main character, Steve Carell's character. He's pop number 869. And that's what he looks like. He's holding a, I believe it says the best boss ever. The world's best boss, that's what it says here. Typical Funko design. It says pop television here in the front. You have the Office, number 869. Window box display, as you can see right here. Nice side shot here. The typical Funko design. Does a Michael Scott right here. On this side, we have a typical design of Funko. It has sort of this manila envelope. That's sort of the gimmick. Of course, they work in an office. It does say Michael Scott on this side right here, number 869. And the back of the packaging showcases all the pops that are available in this particular wave. Now, the gimmick I'm talking about is the inside of the flap, the tuck flap of the box. If you open the flap up, there is some words. That says, that's what she said. It's a gimmick he says all the time. It's a sexual innuendo. He says it through he talks about it every single season. He doesn't stop saying this. It's a gimmick. That's his little quotes. That's the Easter egg I'm talking about. That's what she said. He always says that. So let's get this guy out of packaging. Looks very cool. And like I said, I'm shooting a little bit differently. I'm going to go basically kind of rapid fire with these because I have so many of them. No figure stand. And the design is very cool. He's wearing his nice little suit here. It says world's best boss. Kind of getting a little focused here. See what's going on. Does it look like a little bit of smudge here on the vinyl? That's probably not this. That's not how it's designed. It's just some bad paint, bad quality control, what it looks like. He does look good, though. Besides that, very typical design to the Michael Scott character. This is kind of like taken from the TV show to vinyl figure form. So they did a very good job on this pop. Head articulation spins 360, no hindrance, very cool design. Again, mentioned no figure stand, should stand with no particular issue. Again, Michael Scott, number 869. Moving on to, let's say, the secretary, which is Pam Beesly. She's the secretary in the Office show. Again, pop television right here, The Office, number 872. Does a Pam Beesly down here at the bottom. Nice side shot right here, typical. Again, same type of design, manila envelope. Of course, the Office gimmick, little paper clip right there, and I mentioned right there as well. Pop television and a pen. On this side, let's say Pam Beesly. Sorry for the glare. The back of the packaging showcasing all the figures in the wave. Again, very cool design, very cool packaging. If you look right here, the inside tuck flap says Dunder Mifflin. This is Pam. That's a saying she always says when she answers the phone. If you're not familiar with Dunder Mifflin, that's the company, the fictitious company. It's a paper company. Michael's the boss of his regional branch. That's what the idea in this environment's all about. So we'll take Pam out. She does have a figure stand, if you were curious. She has a very thin body. It's a single foot peg stand right here, one peg right here. Long hair, looks very, very cool in a very, very casual dress attire she would normally wear. A pink blouse, looks like a skirt and her sneakers. The articulation is okay, no issues. The paint's clean. Has a little barrette back here. I like this little attention to detail, this little barrette she has in her hair. She has earrings. Again, looks like the character Pam Beesly taken right off the TV show. They did a really, really bang up job with these pops. Looks very, very cool. Next, let's move on to the kind of the one of the protagonists in the show. Of course, we have Jim Halpert. Pop television again, The Office, number 870. Kind of a cool shot right here. Does have Jim Halpert. This is a window box display against all Funko designs would be. Nice shot right here of Jim. On this side does say Jim Halpert right here. Hopefully you can see it. There we go. Back of the packaging, same sort of design. And we'll talk about kind of what he's wearing when we get him out of packaging. Again, his Easter egg does say here, everything I have I owe to this job, this stupid, wonderful, boring, amazing job. He said that, I think, in the very first season, I believe, one of his kind of opening quotes. Sorry for the glare. Hopefully it will focus. Focus, focus. There we go. Focus for a second there. But that's just everything I have I owe to this stupid, everything I have I owe to this job, this stupid, wonderful, boring, amazing job. So he looks very, very cool pop. We'll take him out. He does not have a figure stand. He should stand with no particular issue. As I mentioned, he has sort of a gimmick going on with him. His head's a little cockeyed. That's just, I think, this particular pop. It's sort of head slanting in this direction, I guess, towards this way, actually this way. That's this particular pop. It would probably be fixed if you maybe put it in some hot water, rather warm water to kind of bend the vinyl back. But if you notice, he has a sticker that says "Hello Dave." It might be hard to pick up on it, but it does say it's like a hello name tag. I think it says "Hello Dave." Yeah, "Hello Dave." He did this sort of outfit that you see here in a Halloween costume. They had an episode where it was a Halloween event, and he wore, that was his Halloween costume. He put a name sticker on it that said "Hello Dave." So that was his little costume in that particular episode. He has his typical button shirt, his tie, and his blue jeans and his dress shoes. His head will spin 360 with no hindrance. Again, the head is a little wonky because it probably just, it's the way it is in the packaging. So it just has to be kind of, warm water would kind of bend the vinyl plastic back into a normal configuration. Next, we have an exclusive Jim Halpert. We'll talk one of the exclusives. This, again, is a Halloween design costume. This is a Funko Shop exclusive limited edition. It says pop right here, number of the office, number 880. The other Jim here, this one was number 870. Same type of design, except we have the sticker right there. It says Funko limited edition. Jim Halpert on this side. It does say Jim Halpert right here as well, 880. Same sort of design we saw for the other pops as well. His gimmick, actually, let's talk about his Easter egg first before we talk about a gimmick. It does say here, I'm a 3-hole punch version of Jim because you can have me either way, plain white Jim or 3-hole punch. This was another Halloween episode. I don't know if it was the same episode where he switched costumes or a different Halloween episode. I know they had the sticker in one portion and then he had the 3-hole punch, I think, in the same episode, but I could be wrong on that. Don't hold me to it. So let's get him out of packaging. We'll compare him to the other Jim Halpert so you can see the difference. He has no issue with his head. So he does have the 3-hole punch right here. He just had 3 kind of little things stuck to his shirt. That was the idea and gimmick. Again, same sort of design as the other Jim Halpert. As you see right here. Literally it's the same sculpt, just different costumes. It's literally what it is. He does have a cup of coffee, plain white cup of coffee, no difference there. A white shirt, his tie, and his brown jeans with his shoes. Head will spin 360 with no hindrance. Great pop, love the way it looks. It does look great. I think this one looks, the 3-hole punch Jim, as opposed to the normal Jim here, looks a little bit better. The 3-hole punch looks better than this one. Now this one, I'm going to kind of circle back to this one in a second. But this one is a standard version. They have a chase version of this one, which had in one episode in season 7 where he had the word book written in Sharpie on his face. It was just a quick scene. That's all it was. There was no real build up to it. If you're curious where that came from. So the limited edition Funko version, Jim, looks good. I wanted this one because it was a little bit different, and me and my girl wanted to kind of bolster our office pop wave, and we wanted him. There's some new ones coming out. Some of them I don't, like I said, which we'll talk about further in the final thoughts. We'll talk more about what I think about more of these pops coming out in the future, so we'll get back to that shortly. Next, we'll talk about the sort of the main antagonist, the person that our friend Jim here always hates. It's Dwight Schrute. He is pop number television here. The Office number 871. Nice shot right here. It does say Dwight Schrute, window box display. Side shot right here. Dwight Schrute on this side. And the same packaging that we've seen for all the other ones. His Easter egg says, "Nothing stresses me out except having to seek the approval of my inferiors." So Dwight is a character all in of himself, a very hilarious character. He always battles Jim here, on the show, so you can understand he's sort of I use the word antagonist. He's not quote unquote a bad guy per se, but him and Jim always go on ends when they always clash in the office. There's lots of funny stuff between those two characters. So we'll take a look at our friend Dwight here. Looks really, really good. They did a really good job with Dwight. I'm very surprised how good he translated to vinyl figure form. So he came out really good. He has these big, massive glasses. He does have that on the show. Hair kind of slicked back. He has his little phone right here on his side. He always had it on the side. Tie, kind of shirt, and dress pants, and dress shoes, all brown with some tan. Articulation, head will spin 360 with no real hindrance. Great interpretation of the Dwight Schrute character. Love the way he looks. If you like Dwight Schrute on The Office, you have to pick up this pop. Moving on to the two big items. One is Prison Mike. On one of the episodes of The Office, they had a thing where there was a person who was who was a criminal. And, of course, Michael Scott decided to kind of bolster this whole idea of a criminal and basically debuted the Prison Mike outfit. It's just Michael Scott with a bandana on his head and the same dress outfit he normally wears. It is a Hot Topic exclusive. A little bit hard to track down now. I've noticed they're hard to find this particular pop. It does say Pop Television, again, The Office number 875. Prison Mike listed here, Hot Topic exclusive sticker. Nice kind of design right here, the typical Funko design we've seen on Pops. The side shot of Michael Scott. Does say prison. This side does say Prison Mike. Prison Mike on this side, number 875, and of course the back of the Prison Mike box, him dressed up. So let's get a look at him. Before we do anything, we have to look at the Easter egg. It just says gruel sandwiches, gruel omelets, nothing but gruel. Plus, you can eat your own hair. That's a saying he said in the episode. That's where they took this quote from. Again, every single pop, as I mentioned, on the in the Office waves will have this. Commons, exclusives, 2-packs, they all say something special. That's a little Easter egg, a little touch, a little additional touch Funko did. I really recommend it. I think it's a very cool idea they did with this. And of course, he does have his bandana. It looks more purpley. It's a purple bandana with kind of a white little, kind of a wavy symbol on it, but it's looking blue coming across on camera. It is really purple, but it is blue. He has a blue outfit here. I don't think it is the same as this outfit. It's a little different than this design right here. It's different pose. Same exact identical suit, rather, but different pose, if you're curious. So, yeah. Very, very cool. He does have the bandana tied in the back right here. Articulation spins 360 with no problems. His arms are folded. More of a lankier pop, and he does not have a figure stand, and there's no holes in the feet, so he should be able to stand with no particular issue or problem. I had to get Prison Mike. Very cool running gag. He only did this in one episode in an earlier season. I want to say like season 2 or season 3, I think it was, where he broke out his Prison Mike gimmick. He does something like this. We'll do Santa Mike. Or he'll do Date Mike, which is a further, like I think it's in season 6 he does Date Mike, which is a pop coming out, which we'll talk about in Final Thoughts. But very cool pop. Very, very highly recommend getting the Prison Mike because it's a very, very funny gag he did in the Office show. And now, last but not least, we have a 2-pack. This is the Toby and Michael. These guys are always at ends. They always battle and they always bicker on the show. Michael here hates Toby. Absolutely hates Toby. And Toby does nothing wrong on the show. He just despises Toby. So this is your 2-pack variation of the same packaging we'll be seeing for these guys right here, just in a 2-pack version. There's actually 2 Easter eggs kind of on this one here. So we have Pop Television, Toby v. Michael, which is very, very fitting, 2-pack. You have Michael Scott on this side, Toby on this side, does say The Office. And it says Toby over here and Michael over here, not Michael Scott, does say 2-pack. Back of the packaging showcases both pops and all the figures that are available in that particular wave. Now, the tuck flap does have another quote, which, again, very cool. It does say here, I hate so much about the things you choose to be. He said that in the episode, Toby was leaving the show, kind of going on vacation, and he had, Toby handles here HR. He handles human resources. And they're bringing another HR person into the show, which eventually becomes a love interest to Michael. Of course, him right here. And he gave him as a going away present a rock. That's what he's holding. So let's get this one out of packaging, and let's talk about the packaging first, because the inside of the packaging is sort of another Easter egg. All these other single pops that you see here don't have this, but you see this sort of backdrop here. It's sort of, you see vanilla folders, you see a pen up here, a paper clip, nice little touch, even a highlighter right there. Nice touch, because these ones, as you see here, don't have any inserts on the inside of the packaging. The 2-pack, in fact, does. Again, sort of like another Easter egg. So let's get into Michael. This, again, is a different Michael Scott. Very similar to this Michael Scott right here. But this one, of course, is pointing at Toby. No kind of dress jacket on. Blue jeans, tie, pointing white shirt, black shoes, black hair, no blemishes on the paint as opposed to this one here. So you see the kind of the splotch right there at the top right here is what I'm talking about. No paint issues on this one. I could probably just kind of move it around, probably clean it up a little bit. Maybe it might be a smidge on the vinyl. Could be. I have to take a look at it. But again, articulation is sound. No issues there. Very cool pop. Very plain version of Michael Scott. Next, of course, we have Toby. This is the only version of Toby that's come out in a 2-pack. It's the only way you can get this pop. He does say, suck on this. It's a rock with a kind of a sticker on it, like a notepad, like a sticky note. He wrote, suck on this rock. He kind of, the brow is frilled right here because that's how the character looks on a TV show. He has a frilled brow. He always looks kind of like out of it, like he's maybe a little slow. He has a dopey look on his face. So that's the kind of thing they were trying to get across on this pop. He does have a suit, kind of brown, tannish colored suit, tie. It's all one sort of piece, shirt and pants, same colored shoes. He does have balding in his hair right here, which he is kind of balding on the TV show. Head will spin 360 with no issues of articulation. Great 2-pack. Highly recommend getting both these if you're really interested in both Michael Scott and Toby, the sort of battling they have on the TV show. Very, very funny. Highly recommend getting both these guys. And with that being said, let's go to final thoughts and wrap up this video. Alright guys, final thoughts on the Funko Office Pops. If you're a fan of the TV show, I really highly recommend picking these guys up. They're a really great line for Funko. I kind of talked about it briefly in the breakdown segment. Don't pick up the entire wave. There's a lot of pops in the office. Maybe pick up your favorite characters. There's new lines coming out as well. They have some Christmas pops coming out. They have one for Dwight dressed up. They have one of Michael dressed up. Of course, they have Date Mike, which is an episode in a newer season where he didn't know he was going on a date. Very, very funny gag. We're picking up Date Mike. Have to get that pop. But these pops are really, really cool. And again, they spout that really neat Easter egg on every single one of the tuck flaps, which I thought was a very, very cool, very subtle touch that Funko did. And I highly recommend picking these guys up if you enjoy the Office TV show. Just don't get carried away. Pick up the pops you really like for the characters you really like for the Office. With that being said, remember to click that like button. Always click subscribe to picture my face. When you subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon to be notified of the latest videos. And of course, last but not least, you'll click Windows over here to watch more of my content. Take care, guys. See you next video. And bye-bye.